Hey everyone. I was looking on the comic forums, or the cartoon and comics section of the Sega forums, and I looked as well. But actually, I really found this mostly not just there, but I found this also at the Saturday Morning Sonic.com forums, and there was a topic on there that, according to Archie Comics, somebody put this in this topic, that Princess Sally, the character you see right here, is one of the most popular, if not the most popular characters, Sonic-wise, in the book, if not the franchise. Now, I know some people, I know a lot of people will agree with that, and I know a lot of people will disagree with that. And, but I guess this just goes to show you that, the popularity of a character that, believe it or not, made a cameo in the Sonic Spinball game can really become an icon, if you will. Because literally, that's what Archie Comics and I think even Sega is saying about her. Even though she's not in the games, she is basically one of Sega's icons when it comes to the Sonic franchise. She's the most recognizable character when it comes to it. In fact, somebody pointed this out. One of the replies to this topic, somebody pointed this out, was the fact that Sally is more recognizable than any other female in the Sonic universe. Well, not almost any other female, but non-game-wise, she is. I mean, someone said, this person said that in their topic, they said that in their class, they could, if they have free time or something, they can draw a Sonic female character like, say, Bunny or Lupe or Hershey, heck, even Julie Stewart, maybe even someone from the games, like, say, Amy Rose or Cream or Marina or Blaze or something like that, and people will look at those characters and they'll be like, who's that? But once, that person would take the free time and draw Sally, they'd be like, oh yeah, I remember her. I know. They'd be like, oh hey, it's Sally. I remember that show. I mean, just to take this character right here and say, hey, I remember, and say, she's the reason you remember a certain show, or she's the reason you know about the comic books, or she's the reason you know about the games, even though she's not in them. That's like saying, wow. you know, that's just saying like, wow, if she's more recognizable than some of the game characters, or more popular, then wow. But again, I know there are some people that disagree on that. I know some people think it's just Archie's biased opinions. That basically Archie's saying that she's more popular, that she's only popular in the comic books and nowhere else. Well, others might disagree with that. Others will say that she is popular, and that at a time, Sega was considering her for game material. And not just for the Sonic Mars game, which would have had everybody in it, but we're talking like probably taking Amy Rose's place. Who knows? I don't know. But in that kind of situation, that kind of scenario, I mean, think about it this way. Back in the mid-90s, she was the only character, non-game-wise, of the Sonic franchise that got her own miniseries in the comic book. Her own spin-off miniseries. It's true. Now, some people might say, oh, well, she got it, but it failed. It didn't fail, as far as I know. From what I've heard, it was one of the best sellers they had back in the day. And this is before they came up with the idea of giving Tails a miniseries. This is before they gave Knuckles a miniseries that launched him into his own comic. You ever think of that? She was the one that got the first one officially. Now again, some people might say that's just Archie's biased opinions because they want her alive. Hey, that's your opinion. But if people agree that it's not just Archie, but it's also Sega, she's saying she's one of the most popular, if not one of the most recognizable, if not the most recognizable female character in the Sonic franchise, game-wise or non-game-wise, then how are you going to argue that? I mean, I know Ken Penders has come out and said that the fans had been wanting, back in the mid to late 90s when he did Endgame. I know Ken Penders has said that the fans have been wanting her dead for a long time. There was a majority of fans that wanted her dead. But according to one of the people that replied to this topic on SaturdayMorningSonic.com, excuse me, the message boards, basically they said that the majority that Ken was talking about is the silent majority. Is the majority of fans that don't speak a word because they know if they vocalize how they feel about a certain character, others that feel a different way will vocalize higher than them. That's what I think this one person was talking about when he said Ken was referring to the silent majority. Well, apparently the silent majority didn't make enough noise because not just Sega, but the fans brought her back. Now, true, people like Ken Penders will go on record and say that it was Sega that said, hey, bring her back, we got plans for her. Maybe that's true. But you also got to realize when Ken wrote this series, or wrote Endgame, it was at a time when Sega World had just opened up, I think, and the Sonic show in Sydney, Australia had just opened up, and Sally was a part of that. And down there, in those Sega Worlds, in Australia, you got, I mean, the amount of merchandise that that had her face on it, or that was selling, was unheard of. I mean, you've all seen me show off the fact that I have a Sally plush. That's one of the Sally plushes from Sega World in Australia. That's right. I got that I bought that off somebody in Australia. That Sally plush. So, anyway, that just goes to show you, if she's that popular, even for, let's say, a big company like Coca-Cola, the worldwide distributor of sodas, if you will, the original, if you will, of sodas, Coca-Cola, to come out and just for Australia only, take one of the Coke cans or Coke glasses that they sell, put not just Sonic on there, not just Tails, not just Eggman, but put Sally on there. You know what I'm saying? Put her on there. That's saying something in its own right. Again, I'm not coming out here and denying the fact that maybe Archie Comics is saying that Sally's the most popular and most recognized, is the most popular and probably the most recognizable female Sonic character, game and non-game wise, there is because they're being biased. I'm not saying that, and I'm not saying it's because they're being unbiased. I'm just saying that if for a company like that to come out and literally say that in front of the world on their own website, and possibly for Sega in some ways to recognize it, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I mean, for fans themselves, newer fans, older fans, people that have just gotten a glimpse of the cartoon series or a glimpse of the comics, or even played the games, for them to see someone sitting at their desk drawing a picture of Bunny Rabbit, or Cream the Rabbit, or a Vanilla Rabbit, or Blaze the Cat, or even Amy Rose, or even Rouge, or even Shade, for goodness sake, or Julie Sue, for them to look at those characters and say, who are they, and not know who they are, but then for someone to come out and draw Sally on there, and for that person to point out, oh, hey, it's Sally. I remember that show. I know the games. I know about the games. Then that does say something. But again, I'm not trying to say this because I'm a fan of the Princess Sally character. I am a fan, but I'm not saying that because I am. I'm just pointing out a fact that some people have been lost upon, for a while. And that is, no matter what you say, someone else is going to say it louder and prouder. And if someone like Archie Comics, which may not be as big as Marvel or DC, if they want to come out and say that Sally is the most popular and the most recognizable female Sonic character, game or non-game wise, there is, then that's saying something. But that's just my take on it, and I thought I'd just let you guys know about that here on YouTube, because I'm not sure if anybody has gone to SaturdayMorningSonic.com/forums and seen this article. I'll put a link up. But again, this just proves to me, this just proves once more, you could say something louder, you could say something loud and proud, and someone else will say it louder and prouder. And that's all I'm going to say. I'll talk to y'all later.